Okay, is everything good now? It should be working. I apologize, guys. I don't know what's it's bugging out the last couple days. Maybe I should pick up a different set. But let me restart again. Again, I appreciate you guys all being here. To those that are new, welcome. And also for those that are new, as you can see in our chat, it's already starting. I just want to let everyone know that the topics of our discussion will be steered by the community in the chats. Of course, unless I have something that I want to bring up on our development front or exciting news that I'd like to share with you guys, or maybe get some more opinions on stuff. Sorry again for the difficulties. I'll try and get that sorted. That's 2 times in a row that's happened, so I apologize. But we do have some questions here. So I did, I guess, waste a little bit of time with the difficulties. So we got a couple in here already. I'm just going to jump right into them. The first question I see, and a really good question, by the way, Jack Tito. I don't know if I pronounced that wrong, but would Yan token storage allocation be reversible? In other words, could I decide to downgrade my storage space for more Yan? Absolutely. That's exactly how we're trying to, well, that we're planning to have Yan DNA once it's fully released with Yan token implemented. The storage allocation will work something similar along the lines to this, for argument's sake, and this is probably how it'll be at launch, but you have to look at how things will change, which I'll try and explain. So at launch, what we want to do with Yan DNA is 100 Yan tokens will be equivalent to X amount of storage. So for argument's sake, let's say 100 Yan tokens is equivalent to 5 gigabytes of storage. Okay. In the event that your value of Yan is to increase because of on market activity, etc., whatever, if the value of your Yan were to increase, then obviously the storage that you should have allocated in your account, because you've deposited this Yan into your account, should increase. That's how it's scheduled to be done, and vice versa. If your allocation is growing and you don't need that much, like you just mentioned, could I downgrade or withdraw my Yan? Absolutely. The deposit of Yan isn't to, like, you're not depositing it to a company or to anything. Like, you're depositing it to your account to let the network know, like, okay, I have this much collateral here, so this is how much storage that I want to reserve for myself. And that storage space will obviously be coming from the IPFS servers that are supporting IPFS. In the future, when the decentralized aspect of the growth of IPFS is allocated to you, the users, the Masternode owners, you will then be able to also contribute resources to the IPFS network and grow how much storage space is available. Us as a company, Pack Global Holdings LLC, we obviously have our own server infrastructure that we are providing to support our products, and obviously support Pack Protocol Network as a whole. But yes, long story short, in the event that your Yan tokens were to increase in value, you can withdraw a portion of that, or whatever, like, you have freedom to choose if you want to keep that allocation of storage. Like, if the value of Yan has gone up and that 5 gigabytes is now, let's just say, 50 gigabytes because of the value, or you could vice versa, take out the Yan that you don't need there because you don't need 50 gigabytes of storage and bring it back down to your 5. So maybe you would only need 5 Yan in there at that time. You never know. Another cool feature that we have being implemented into this is that on the opposite side of that, we're having that to where your allocation of storage isn't just taken away because of your value. If you reserve something with collateral already, then that's going to stay there, regardless of market activity, etc. So that's a cool feature that we're trying to make sure is available for everyone. And of course, when Yan DNA comes to full launch, everyone will be able to play around with it. And then we probably will have some updates or features or just things that you, the people, recommend to us that we can add into it and make that a little more of a streamlined process. Hi, Andrew. I think it's Andrew. Your question: how are you look to get brand awareness of Pack going? Why didn't we talk to Chico Crypto or Crypto Zombie channels to explain subscribers about Pack like an advertisement? My like pretty quick answer to that really is just us as a company. You know, we have regulations that we have to follow. That goes for any company in any country. You have your own laws to follow. We cannot, like, just being transparent, I cannot go out as representing Pack Global Holdings LLC and reach out to an individual for paid promotion, because that would directly impact market activity or market sentiment one way or the other. Someone could do it in the negative way, or someone could do it in the positive way. But if us, as representing a company and also the creators of this network, were to be paying people to promote PAC, then there's a huge problem with that. That's why we don't do that. But on the other side of that, when you're mentioning an advertisement, you've seen the different brand awareness campaigns that we've put up, most likely, since you're mentioning brand awareness, such as the billboards in Times Square, the events that we've gone to, et cetera, advertising the brand in prestige locations right next to other prestige logos. Those are really cool. And we're able to do those because we're not pushing people to purchase PAC or anything. We're getting people's attention on the brand. And also, what are they focusing on? Well, obviously, we're focusing on data storage and the growth of a decentralized network for any use, really. So that's one way that we could theoretically, possibly. I had this call yesterday, actually, not with these people, but we were talking about this, how we could, explain PAC protocol in a way to the masses using channels like you're mentioning, but only in a way for like educational purposes, like not like education as far as like going to school kind of things, but just getting that brand out there, teasing a little bit of like what we're focused on. And then I guess their viewers can make their own decision on what they want to do. We can't physically just go out there and tell people, hey, go buy this without knowing what it is, or hey, I'm an influencer, so you should listen to what I say and go get into this. Like, we don't do that. I'm never doing that. And that's something that we have to like be smart about of how we do, showcase our brand. You don't want to be part of a shilling comedic act, and you don't want to be part of making people make decisions based off of other people's decisions. You want people to be educated, so we're trying to do that in our ways that we can. But absolutely, people that are involved in PAC protocol, the network, finding different uses for the native coin PAC, and then also Yan token and the other token, the whole ecosystem that is about to come to this network, the expansion of this network, the many features that we already have, such as LOMQs, chain locks, the basic, growth of how much collateral is locked on the network as a masternode. Obviously, we have updates to be being pushed to optimize everything that we are offering, but that comes, with time regardless. You always optimize it. But yeah, anyone involved in this network can absolutely, on their own accord, go, brand awareness campaign yourself and bring people in a PAC. I recommend you do that as an educational, point of view, not forcing people to just jump in on something just because you say so. But that's kind of my answer on that. It's like why we don't really do those things, because a lot of those channels are specific for those reasons. Like, we all know that. People go there to find the next project to jump into or whatever. And that sounds all great and well coming from someone just wanting to get other people in here so that, maybe the price jumps up, blah, blah, blah. I understand that point of view. I really do. Like, I'm not saying I don't, but I'm being very transparent and telling you I cannot, and my team does not and will not ever go that route, because we can't. It's a legal nightmare, and that's not what we want to do anyways. We want people to jump into PAC protocols ecosystem and use cases because they want to, and that's the way that we're going to go about that. And you, as individuals on this network, you can do so as well. We do not speak fully for the decentralized aspect of PAC protocol. I only speak for myself and our company. And also, another shout out to Kuhn. I know he's probably not here, but I got this other shirt from him. It's a pink one with the label, with the logo. He got me like so many colors. I got a rainbow. Got a rainbow in my closet of all the different colors with PAC on it now. So I'm gonna try and introduce them every once in a while so people can see what kind of cool stuff he's got cooking up there in the PAC store. I also got this. I forgot I brought this. And this was, I believe, designed by someone in the community. The design, at least, but it's a duffel bag, right? See, got the wolf on it, the logo, everything involved there. It's a nice big old duffel bag. I'll be using that a lot, but that's awesome. Oh, I see another question. Sorry, I must have missed that one. What is the progress on Yan token and WPAC, especially for WPAC since the distribution volume of PAC is small? We hope that it will be realized as soon as possible. Yeah, so very correlated. As soon as the update for Yan token is completed, that will obviously transition our focus into creating a bridge for this network for the Ethereum wrap and also Binance Smart Chain wrap. So you'll have both options. We want to accomplish both. The two exchanges, that come immediate to mind for most people when they're thinking about wrap tokens is you can now list on Uniswap swiftly, easily. Like there's no fee to do that. Obviously, you have to provide liquidity. That can be done in a manner of like us doing it or everyone doing it. There's different options that liquidity can be provided. There's pools. And then there's also Pancake Swap, same deal, just different chain that you're being able to wrap over to. So when the update for Yan tokens completed, and that's what I'm anticipating, what everyone's anticipating. When that's done, then we can focus our attention onto building that decentralized bridge for wrapped PAC. There's also another bridge that is being built with PAC on the Flare with Flare Finance, where they've been given 100 million PAC for their bridge. I don't know the progress on that. We're not involved in that actual building yet, but that's another bridge that's being built with PAC. Michael, could you maybe elaborate a little bit on that question? I don't really know what you're directing that towards exactly. Your question, can we know the marketing agency? I don't know if that was like a comment with my answer to Andrew or your own standalone. I noticed it. I just don't know how to answer it. Oh, and I did see that question, Nicholas. Thank you for putting that in the chat. I forgot. I saw that in Discord earlier. I was going to mention it here. Your question, are there any downsides to running the Masternode through Vultr, or are there any benefits to running the node on your own computer, voting or other choices we have as owners? So running a Masternode doesn't, being on Vultr or any other provider or yourself doesn't alter you from participating in the actions that you have as a Masternode owner, such as voting. Like if you have a Masternode active and it's connected, you're able to do everything that you can do on a Masternode. The only downside I would say is running a node on your own computer. Not really downside. It's just maybe a hassle if it's a computer that you plan to use, or most people I know don't have extra computers laying around that are just connected to internet all the time. Like the screen is on 24/7. Those are all requirements that you need to have for a Masternode. It needs to have, that 24/7 connection. Otherwise, if it falls off, the your Masternode eventually turn to a disabled status. POS band score would get too high, and then you'd have to do maintenance on that. So that's going to be something that is vital to pay attention to if you're running a Masternode at home, especially as this update's being released. That's one of the major things that we focused on was the POS band scoring system, and then making sure that the proper nodes that are enabled, such as being on 24/7, actually producing what they should be doing, are the ones being rewarded, and the other ones are not, or well, they're not being rewarded, but they're being told that they need their maintenance done with a proper POS band score. So I'd say if you run it on your computer, you're perfectly fine if you're planning to keep it connected 24/7, as long as your computer has the resources to do so. Other than that, I mean, that's the reasons why a lot of people choose to use third-party providers. Also, because in the event of a power outage, a lot of third-party providers do have contingencies for that, like backup generators or etc. Like I don't know, I'm just assuming, and I'm assuming most people at home probably don't have that kind of setup of the event like power goes out, now your node's not connected, and even if you have a back, like your internet's out, it's just a lot of different things that you have to think about. But it's definitely possible. Like just the downsides are just maintenance. That's it. Maintenance on both sides. You can't just fully put a Masternode on a third-party provider and just put your hands up and not do anything, because there are and could be events that they send you an email and say like, hey, we have planned maintenance for this time period. Like if you need to switch your server over, they'll they'll let you know, stuff like that. But if you do it on your own, you do it on your own, and that's perfectly fine. You just got to be ready for that. Thank you, Sebastian. I appreciate it. And thank you, Nicholas. Yeah, Vulture and Hetzner, they're both really great providers. They're both included as an API feature in Yan Safe to make it easy to do. But you can also do that the manual way as well. Just within that product, it's a lot easier. Try to make it easy for anyone and everyone. Because the original way, deploying a Masternode, that people may remember, was very like fatiguing. If you had multiple nodes, you weren't doing it in 5 minutes. You were doing it probably over a course of an hour, and or faster. But most people that don't know what they're doing or it's the first time, it was a process. And so that's why again, being involved with Pack Protocol and being able to showcase us an idea and a feature that he was able to implement with APIs and Yan Safe. I mean, it's legendary. We saw immediately how it impacted the network, how many master nodes were then being created, those transactions occurring on the network to collateralize 500,000 pack. It shot up immediately because people now could do it. It's easy. Like that's how we want everything to be. I'm just giving a little time, seeing if any other questions come in. And if not, I can go over a couple things that I wanted to mention, just kind of rebasing what we talked about the last stream. Um, just giving some more updates on our development front, where we're at. Still in testnet, but that's the good part. Is it true pack nodes can be used by other projects to become decentralized and those tokens are awarded to Packnode? Not that simply. Uh, it's true that a pack master node is already built on top of a server. So part of our plans in the product I was just mentioning, and Safe, is making it easy for people to do stuff. So if it's made easy for you to already have a Yan Safe hosted masternode, it can also be made easy for you to use the same product to deploy other network servers, other networks nodes to support them as well. That's all choice based though. You wouldn't be getting rewarded on a packed masternode on a completely separate chain by another chain because you installed one of their servers, unless that's how that chain's built out. But there are many different ways of how these other chains and projects could theoretically send you benefit, whether that is through partnership of us being able to provide this through one of our products, or we do have a token layer coming out to where that can be matched on their side if chosen to be done. And then the people running those nodes can be receiving that then. But you're not going to be receiving rewards from another chain directly to your pack node just by running one of their servers. It has to be a completely it's got to make sense. You can't just run a pack master node and just expect to be paid XRP or Bitcoin or Litecoin just because you're also running a Bitcoin master node, or not master node, Bitcoin full node. Same basis, but you know what I mean. But yes, other projects can, yes, absolutely be decentralized. If those running a pack masternode, look, we got 22,400 registered masternode collateral on the network. Those that are running proper masternodes with a proper server, they can choose to juice up the resources that they're giving their server or paying for, and install other projects full nodes on top of that. Since you already have a server, if you want to support another project, by all means, go for it. That's your choice. You already have an infrastructure of 22,400, I believe, or close to that number of possible nodes that could be maintaining other projects and other networks as well. So it's valuable for those projects to see that and be like, oh, we need to make sure that we quote unquote advertise to those server owners that, hey, if you also install our stuff, we'll benefit you too. Like, and that's our job of like or not our job, but what we've made our job of introducing this network to these different projects, the ones that do need to grow, the ones that are going to realize that very quickly with the NFT frenzy still continuing and not going away. These chains are going to need to be able to support the data, support the transactions. And a lot of that stuff isn't just based off of, it's not based off of price. It's not based like that stuff has nothing to do with the actual technicals of networks. Some projects desperately will need more full node support, and they can't just do it themselves. Like if they just supported all the full nodes themselves, you now have a complete central risk of that network not working anymore, regardless if they have good intentions or not. We talked about earlier, power outages, things like that can happen. Same thing can happen. Anything can happen if you have a central authority of the only people running full nodes on any given project. You have a central point of a failure. That's the benefit of being part of a network that can grow and scale like Pact Protocol. You have multiple different avenues for the network to still be maintained. You can have professional companies, you can have groups involved in maintaining the network, but at the end of the day, there is no single point. You just have a bunch of different supporters making sure that the network's connected. So with the NFT, market with data being needed to be stored places, especially for verifying content, that was our overall, vision of Pact Protocol's growth can very easily be maneuvered into the growth and need of data storage. As far as Flare and Gala partnerships, are they approaching Pack or you marketing towards them or somewhere in the middle? We didn't like there was no marketing involved. It wasn't like, we sent a random email and they replied kind of thing, or vice versa. That was just us being introduced via our networks of like people networks, so, going places, going to different venues, meeting people, talking, exchanging information, blah, blah, blah. That's how we were able to be introduced to Hugo through Flare, just with our connections of different people. And then same thing with Gala. And basically our partnerships with them are to mean equilibrium, really, like make sure that we're able to offer the same thing to them that they can for us at any given time, really. So um, we approach Flare with an idea for how we can advance like the decentralization of their voting aspect of their network. Not because they have like two different ways. Like they have they use validators, but they want their validators to be obviously trusted, and the ones that are trusted will at the end of the day be the ones that most people are delegating their votes towards. I think that's a pretty like common sense aspect way of looking at that, because if it's a trusted validator recognized by Flare itself, the weight of that validator's vote will inevitably grow, because the weight is decided by how many coins or tokens are delegated towards a validator. So with, as we just kind of mentioned, how large the network is, 22,400 roughly of registered, collateral masternodes on our network, we show people those statistics and be like, look, that's just a wall that's one master node that's of that supply. Like imagine the outreach of this entire community that can be involved in your voting system, which is what they at the end of the day want. They want a decentralized voting system for their price validations, etc. But they want their validators to be like not risky. You don't want to have risky validators that they just could at any point drop off and then they lose like a huge part of their voting aspect. I'm getting a little too much into Flare, so maybe more information on them you can seek from them. But that was our initial conversations, and what we're still working together on is being able to provide them that voting ecosystem. And in return, obviously there's going to be ways that benefit those that interact on that. So more information will be revealed at that. I can't at this time, especially towards the validator that we're running and the weight of our stake of voting. That it's information we can't talk about just yet, but it's going to be. I think it's going to be important for a lot of people to get involved in that network as well. Hey, Nicholas, I appreciate that. I really do. Thank you. And thank you for stopping by. All right, I'll give it maybe another minute or so to see if we have any more questions come flying in here. If not, I will go over a couple short updates that I have for you guys, and then we'll call the stream for today. Um, will PAC be utilized on Flare Finance or Flare Network? Both. I believe both. As far as it being a wrapped asset on Flare Network, no, not at this time. Not out of the question, just not at this time. There's some certain requirements that we have to meet, not just not technological requirements, but market requirements, volume, stuff like that that we mentioned in the last stream. Like we don't personally get involved to try and manipulate or control. There's no sense to that. So that's one of those that we can reach certain requirements, then maybe we can become a wrapped asset as well on Flare Network. But absolutely utilizing Flare Finance, they've already received 100 million pack from myself to them to be used in their wrap bridge for their Y assets. So that's cool. I don't have the exact timeline of when that's going to go live, but pay attention to that. We are definitely part of that. Okay, let's see here. And also one thing that can be pretty expected that we haven't really touched on yet. It'll be more surprise than tease, I'll say. But Yan DNA is 100% involved in this update coming up for Pack Protocol, like 100% on the IPFS side. For people that mint NFTs and they want that to be automatically stored over into IPFS, just boom and done. That's being implemented directly into this core update. So um, it's it's been a lot of work. A lot of people involved, a lot of hours, but we're just super excited for this finally coming to not an end, but a completion stage so that we get to release it, first of all. And second of all, we're going to have a lot of time to just reflect on the fact that people are going to start noticing the code that we just put out and potentially could be using it themselves later on based off of how they see it operate on our network and see that it's a pretty good update that the network is now going to be running if we get that full consensus from it. So I'm excited about it. We're all excited. Yan, Barry, all the dairy, all the devs that are involved. We're just super excited to finally be in testnet, watching the different tokens that are being issued fly around. Any bugs that come up, nothing major. Just every time we get in those chats and we see something popped up, pretty sure the solution comes flying along the way about 5 minutes later. So we're at that point where we're fine tuning. And it's funny, Barry, he said to me and Yan, because Yan's like the perfect tester. I don't know if you guys understand this. Like he's just great at testing things. And Barry said he was Yan proofing everything. So for us to do that or be at that stage, that just shows how kind of like we're being very precise on this update, or at least attempting to be. Yes, PAC will be a Y asset on the Flare Finance. Once the Flare network launches, any new assets must be voted on by the community. You're correct. There are assets that Flare themselves are putting on there, but it's only pre-launch, I believe. I don't think they would be putting on assets themselves unless the community votes on it. That's kind of part of, I believe, the voting system as well, not just price submissions, but also additional assets that could be added. So you can, it's valuable to just pay attention to this stuff. You know, we don't have every answer because everything that's being developed is being developed. Like it's not born yet, if you can look at it that way. So when these things come to fruition, and we're part of already a massive part of their voting aspect, like the validators. If you have Flare tokens, you can delegate them to a specific validator, contribute to their weight of the price submission. Us as a company and partnering with Flare on this aspect is, you know, that's why we're a recognized validator. So we're not going to be one of those just random validators that are in the closet somewhere. Like people are going to recognize that we're hosting a validator, our weight will be contributed to, and those that contribute to, you know, their own tokens to the validator, that'll grow, and that'll be a way that you can be rewarded in the event that our validator is chosen for our price submission, which, as you can tell, if you have higher weight, your odds are a lot higher, right? So if that's the case and our validator is doing really well in that, it doesn't seem too far-fetched for me to believe, maybe possibly later on in the line, that the community also votes for PAC to be an asset added to the base Flare network. So we'll see. We don't have all the answers. This is all, you know, development talk at this point, but you can see the potential. Here's some of the names of the tokens that we created in testnet, just, you know, throwing supplies, just messing around. We've got a Coon coin, we've got a Crust coin, we've got Checkers coin, we've got Drew coin, we've got Boz coin, we've got Fake Pack coin, we've got Fake Pack 2 coin, we got Chess coin. So we're just doing this to make sure that the issuing of new tokens on our network is working properly. Also, no duplicates. That's a big one too that we're focusing on, making sure that you can't duplicate names of tokens, and you know that's obviously important. So, but yeah, that's where we're at in our, you know, test net as far as issuing tokens. That's like one of the small little bugs that we find in testnet. Like, oh, make sure cook. No, wasn't it was Checkers, I believe. Yeah, Checkers. No cookies yet, but we could. It's just testnet. Yeah, the partnership with Digibyte. So that's quick and swift. We deployed one of their Digi asset nodes. Um, Providing that also within YanSafe is a potential idea to help them adopt growth on that. These aren't paid partnerships; they're just, you know, collaborative partnerships. So we can only do so much from our, you know, side of things, and vice versa for them as well. So the idea with Digibyte and Digi Assets, I mean, if you look into what Digi Assets is, it's a similar, not similar actually, but they have their own method of storage and also issuing out other assets other than Digibyte. So we wanted to help them scale that because the available resources for that wasn't that good. Like it's not a global solution is what I'm trying to say. So we wanted to try and help scale that if people wanted to help scale that. The way that we can help scale it is by making it available in one of our products that we build. And if it's easy to deploy one of their asset nodes on one of our products, then it's valuable, right, for them. So that was our exploitation partnership to get that done when we can. But again, it's not a paid partnership. It's not something that's being rushed on either side. It's just recognizing each other's abilities, and then moving forward, we'll try and build on that. And that what I just said literally goes the exact same for Tron, with what we did with their their storage. It's their own IPFS kind of solution. Um, it's different than ours, like how it scales. But again, we want to make these things easy to scale if people want to scale them. Like, we're not going to be the only network to exist and offer data storage. Both of those networks have their own product to do the same thing, and we're just generally overviewing what's needed, which is just we're going to need data storage that isn't just relying on Google and all the other big names. Like, we need this now, and I think the world realizes that too. Like, you can have all these networks running on their own parameters as long as these things are secure. You're now you're creating it to where Google isn't a monopoly anymore as far as data storage. Like, sure, they still have a massive hold on everything, but it's no longer your only choice, especially if these kind of networks end up growing and becoming a mainstreaming option for data usage. And my full opinion on that is the only way that's ever going to happen is if it's made to be done easy. No one wants to switch over from Google to blockchain if they now have to learn how to do math. Like, no one wants to do that. When you're logging into YouTube, it's very easy to say sign in with Google, right? So, there's a lot of uphill battles that we have to be a part of as far as just not brand awareness, but education, and kind of making that education not feel like education, if that makes sense. Like, people still need to learn about what's happening and why these things happen, like why this technology is better, why this opportunity is now available now as it wasn't before. But it still needs to be so swift and easy for those new people to use it. Otherwise, you just stick with what you know, and it's a part of that. Let's see here. With the new update, is there a different way to save your data to? Uh, I can't read that part. Your data, I'm going to say it says two. Your data to thumb drive now. Couldn't find the wallet data folder when attempting to back up notes. So with the new update, is there a different way to save your data? Hmm. I mean, there should be multiple ways for you to have a backup for your wallet. I don't fully understand that question, so I'm just gonna like jump to your next one because yeah, that's your next question of will we ever be able to access nodes via mobile pack app versus the Yan Safe app on PC? Yes, it's going to be it's a feature that's being implemented into pack app. I don't know if it's going to be in this next update, but it's one Yan is doing. Like, he has that. We've already discussed that. It's going to be one of those features to where you can deploy your Masternode from your cell phone, and then get notifications when you get rewards, or get notification if you need to do maintenance. That way, because you don't need, like, you can host it from not from your phone, but you could obviously deploy it to a third party server from your phone if it's easy to do with a couple of clicks, like it is in Yan Safe. So that's going to be something that's eventually brought over to Pack App once it's fully built into that product. All right. Okay, everyone. I think we're gonna end the stream here. Yeah, we're gonna end it here. I appreciate you guys being here. We have 20 people in here right now. But I want you guys to enjoy your weekend. Take it easy. I know it's really cold in places across the states right now and other places of the world too. So be warm, be safe, and I'll catch you guys on the next stream, okay? We'll try and set it up again for Monday at 3 p.m. Eastern time. And today was our 10th stream, so that's awesome. We're now in double digits, and we'll just keep these going. So again, appreciate you guys being here, and have a good weekend, okay?